Hello everybody and welcome to G-Dubs Gaming. My name is Grant and today we're going to be talking about Sid Meier's Civilization 7 Antiquity Age Civilization, Aksum. I noticed that there's not any real deep dives into all these civilizations outside of what's released by the developers themselves, and so I thought we can read through this and kind of understand from a Civ player what's good, what's bad, what can we expect out of this civilization. And we're going to go through all the civilizations in different videos. So if you want to keep up to date on all the Sid Meier Civilization 7 news, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and let's get started. So, Aksum here is an Antiquity Age civilization, and we're going to read here about some of their background. One of the cool things about Civ 7 is broken up into the 3 different ages, and so we get to experience different cultures that we haven't experienced before, that maybe just didn't last as long to have on the world stage impact, but had a huge impact on a certain age of civilization, and that Aksum is a good example of that. So let's read about them. The African coast of the Red Sea was the domain of Aksum, named by the prophet Menai as one of the 4 key powers of the ancient world. For most of the first millennium CE, Aksumite merchants bore ivory, gold, spices, and other goods from the African interior to India, Persia, and the Mediterranean. Yet, these trade routes planted the seeds of Aksum's fall. When the Arab caliphates took over the Silk Road, Aksum was isolated and fell into decline. So I do like getting that background, lets us know about the rise and fall of Aksum. And interestingly enough, the rise and fall was, of course, due to the same thing. So let's go on, let's read about the unique ability of this civilization, Kingdom of Natural Wealth. Increased gold on resources. So that's really, really good, really powerful. The way that resources work in Civ 7 compared to previous Civ games is that there's no difference between strategic or different resources like that. Like iron and sheep are seen as just resources. And so what that means is that all resources, gold, iron, sheep, silver, luxury, strategic, bonus, they all are just put as resources. And that means you have anything like that and you're getting extra gold on the tile. And that's really, really good for tempo. Gold is used on everything. So you can buy settlers, you can buy different buildings, you can upgrade units. If you want to buy units, go militarily. Gold just helps you set up to succeed no matter your victory type. So that's very, very strong. So the attributes, so some things that the Civ is going to be naturally good at is cultural and economic. So based on what we read about their background, they had the Silk Road trade. There were lots of traders going out. That's what they're kind of known for, is that. And so that makes sense for economic. Culturally, we'll get to learn about their culture and how they impacted civilization. So let's go on. Each Civ has their unique civics tree. And so we're going to read about what they have in their unique civics tree here. So let's see if I can read this. Superior plus of the Itharian Sea. Okay. Ithrian Sea. Interesting. Tier 1. Unlock the Hawalt unique improvement. Increase resource capacity in settlements on coast or navigable rivers, and unlocks Great Steel Wonder. So one thing to note about these unique civic trees is that they unlock different things that are unique to this civic. However, the wonder at the end, the Great Steel Wonder, that is not unique only to Aksum. Any person can get that in the normal civics tree. It's just you typically get it sooner in the custom civics trees versus where the rest of the game would get it. So you have a better chance of building that wonder since it is tied to you. And unlocks a tradition. Port of Nations traditions unlocked with tier 2. So we'll read tier 2 first, and then talk about tradition. And it's important to note that tier 2, yes, you can research the same civic twice. Some civics, not all. Some civics have a tier 2. You can research it twice and become, a professional at it. I think that's not the right term for it, but basically that's what it is. You master that civ. That's what it is, that civic. And so this one, tier 2, increase gold on quarters. So quarters of the districts now, adjacent to coast tiles. Unlocks Port of Nations tradition. So it looks like you're going to be biased towards a coastal start, just based on that. So you're going to be on the edge of the coast, which is really good for multiple reasons. Lots of trading availability, and also when we're going into the exploration age, if you're on a coast, you have a much easier path to get to the distant lands to be able to settle settlements there, and from there be able to get treasure fleets, which is a huge thing for economic victory. So a huge kind of bias here. If you're going for an economic victory, and that's kind of the game you want to play, it looks like Aksum would be a super strong civ to set you up, not just in the first age, but the second age to really get that huge tempo for it. So let's read Tradition Port of Nations. Increase culture and gold for every active trade route. So yeah, you want to get lots of trade routes. So you get extra culture, extra gold. That is really, really good. Reminds me kind of Portugal from Civ 6, where they had those crazy trade routes. All right, so second on the civic tree, Monumentum Adultium. Tier 1, altar and monument buildings gain a culture adjacency bonus with a Howlt unique improvements. Unlocks Throne of My Father's Tradition. So, one important thing. Traditions are basically your government policies. So, just to give a FYI there. So, altar and monument buildings. So, extra culture adjacency bonuses with unique improvement. That's really good. More culture seems to be a big thing for this. You want gold and culture. Trade route seems to be, economic victory seems to really be what it's pushing for. Tradition, Throne of My Fathers. Increase gold in cities adjacent to coast tiles. Once again, it seems like very biased towards a coastal start, which, as we just explained, will be very, very good for a economic victory thinking towards the getting into the second age. And we don't know anything about the modern age yet, but I imagine it's also going to be helpful to be on coast for modern age for the economic victory. Likely due to increased resources once you settle in distant lands, get those extra resources, if I had to guess. But we'll learn more about the modern age as we get closer to February. So here we go. Book of the Heimerites. The Dow unique naval units get the Swift keyword, letting them ignore enemy unit zone of control. Unlocks May This Please the People tradition. So naval units, naval combat's not a huge thing in the Antiquity age. However, it seems like they could be very good. It makes sense if they're on the coast. The start bias of the coast. There may be some naval skirmishes. They may use some, want to control their entire coastline, and so they want to get some ships out and attack some cities from the coast. So that's very interesting. Ignoring zone of control is really good. So let's read this tradition. May this please the people. Increase culture on resources on or adjacent to coast tiles. So yeah, not only do you need to be on coast tiles for your city to go for future, but even here on coast tiles, it's just going to be boosting you. Increase gold on quarters next to gold on the coast tiles, increase gold in cities adjacent to coast tiles, and increase culture on resources on or adjacent to coast tiles. So it's just continually coast. So you're definitely going to be starting, if you're playing as Aksum, on the coast of your continent, of your map. You should definitely be on the coastal side, and you definitely want to settle right there on the coast. Let's look at the unique infrastructure. The Howlt unique improvement. Gold base, increased culture for each adjacent wonder or Howlt must be built on a flat tile. All right, so you want to build this one unique building. You want to place it right in the middle, and you want to surround it with wonders and other Howlts, so you get more adjacency bonuses for it. Culture for each adjacent wonder Howlt, that's good, and it gives you gold automatically. So more money, which is always good, as we talked earlier, and then also a nice cultural boost there. Unique civilian unit, the Tanqua. Unique trade ship, cannot be pillaged, increased trade route range. So you want to do some trade routes over water tiles or up navigable rivers. That could be really good. The Tanqua cannot be pillaged, so you don't have to worry about anyone pillaging your trade route, which is absolutely huge. And then also increase the range, so you can go further with it. That's really good as well, especially since I believe the Antiquity Age economic kind of victory types, if you will, are based on the number of trade routes that you've completed. So that's absolutely massive. Actually, it's not. It's based on resources, not trade routes. I take that back. But still, trade routes, more gold, helps you. Unique military unit, the Dow. Unique naval unit, increased combat strength on coast tiles, has a charge to create a naval trade route. So you can create this, you fight, and then you can also create a trade route, a naval trade route with it, which would be the Tonqua. That's good. I mean, you can build your unique military unit, and depending, it doesn't say that it gets rid of the Dao when you use that ability. So if it doesn't get rid of it, you build that, and basically you're building 2 units. So that's really good for tempo. If you can ever build 1 unit and get 2 out of it, then that's just massively better. The associated wonder, the Great Steel. Gain gold per age when you complete a wonder in the city, including the Great Steel. Must be built in flat tile. Alright, so another big thing for gold. That'll be absolutely massive. So yeah, I mean, that's what's going to be great. It doesn't say how much gold you get, but honestly, that's going to be great. And starting bias is Coastal, as we said, in Rough. So that's Aksum. Let me know what you think in the comments section. I think they're going to be really good at the economic and cultural, and I think they're going to set you up really, really well on the economic side for an economic victory type in the long run of the game. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and check back later. Remember to like the video if you liked it, subscribe, and come back for more, as we'll have more Sid Meier's Civilizations at 7 episodes coming on all civilizations and leaders. Thank you.